This video will contain spoilers for both Avengers Endgame and Toy Story 4. Hello everybody! So this year, we lost a beloved character that I think was an integral part in a lot of our childhoods in the fourth installment of a series of movies. And this character was Iron Man. Wait a second. That's right. Woody is Iron Man. Alright, so let me just clear some things up. When I said lost earlier in this video, for Woody I meant staying in the carnival with Bo Peep and him being lost from the franchise, while for Iron Man, lost meant the death of that character. The death of an Iron Man. Whoa. Also, when I said fourth installment, I meant Avengers Endgame being the fourth Avengers movie, and Toy Story 4 being the fourth Toy Story movie, if you couldn't tell by the title of the movie. I mean, there's a 4 right there. And also, earlier when I said Woody is Iron Man, I don't mean that the two characters are the same character, because they're from two different universes and they're two different species. I just meant that they represent the same character in their franchises, and they have a lot of similarities. So with all that out of the way, here are all the reasons why Woody is Iron Man. And there's surprisingly a lot of similarities between them. So let's start off at the beginning. When we first meet these two characters, Woody in the first Toy Story movie, and Iron Man in Iron Man, they're both seeming to have everything they've ever wanted. Woody being Andy's favorite toy, and Iron Man being a
genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
But then, all of this is taken away, and they get captured by somebody. Iron Man gets captured by the 10 Rings, and Woody, this one's actually a two-parter, getting bumped down from being Andy's favorite toy, with Buzz becoming the favorite, and then them both getting captured by Sid. But then they eventually escape as new men, or, in Woody's case, new toy. Iron Man realizes that he should stop making weapons that are ultimately used for destruction, and Woody realizes that it's okay not to be Andy's favorite toy. At one point, they are betrayed by an older father figure, Obadiah in Iron Man, and the Prospector in Toy Story 2. They both at one point fly with a missile/rocket. They both get a chance to retire at some point in the series, but don't take it. Woody getting the chance to go to the museum and live forever in Toy Story 2. And Iron Man, who seems to retire at the end of Iron Man 3, but then is very much not retired in Age of Ultron. Which really makes you wonder how planned out the MCU is after all. They have an important piece of equipment taken out of them, Iron Man's arc reactor at the end of Iron Man 3, and Woody's voice box in Toy Story 4. They are both pretty much the main stars of their franchises. They are both part of a larger cinematic universe, if you believe in the Pixar Theory, which I do. And if you haven't heard of the Pixar Theory, first of all, are you sure you're interneting correctly? And second of all, I'll put a link in the description for a video and an article that both explain the Pixar Theory. Basically, just the idea that all of the Pixar movies exist in the same universe. And Woody would be part of that because he's in Toy Story, and Toy Story is a Pixar movie. Oh, and Iron Man is in the MCU, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Wow, that took really long to get through that one. I'll just leave them like that. Now, there's actually some similarities between other characters in these franchises that I'd like to point out quickly. So let's start with the main character's love interests, Bo Peep for Woody, and Pepper Potts for Iron Man. Now, I'd like to take this time to point out that Pepper and Peep, which I got from Bo Peep, are spelled very similar. That whole P and E thing going on. Moving on. So when we first meet these characters, they don't really get into the action that much. I mean, Pepper, well, she does do this. And this.
I got you.
And this. Compared to the rest of the MCU, it's a very small percentage. And also, the character very much tries to stay out of the action, and even sometimes gets mad when Tony does get into it. And Bo Peep plays a very tertiary character in the first 2 Toy Story movies. Then, they take a break from the franchise. Pepper isn't in Age of Ultron or Civil War, when it's revealed that she and Tony had split up after he couldn't retire in Iron Man 3, which I just think is just their way of saying, oh yeah, we kinda remember Iron Man 3 now. And Bo Peep isn't in Toy Story 3, and it's revealed that she was given away since Toy Story 2. But then, they re-enter the franchise, getting to the most action they've ever been in. Pepper comes back at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming, stays out of the action in Infinity War and most of Endgame, but then finally gets her own armor and fights in the final battle against Thanos. Which is still not a lot, but if you ask me, fighting alongside the entire MCU against the main villain in a final battle that was 11 years in the making is a lot more than doing a few things in Iron Man 3. Or pretty much anything in Iron Man 3. Nobody remembers Iron Man 3 for some reason. I mean, everybody's giving Thor the Dark World so much hate, but it seems like the one everybody really hates is Iron Man 3. I mean, at least they went back to Thor the Dark World in Avengers Endgame. I mean, I guess you could say that they only did it because the plot required it, but, like, they could have went to nowhere where the Reality Stone was for 5 years. Just saying. Or they could have actually went to the garden where Thanos had the Infinity Stones and already in the gauntlet for a few days. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that if you ask Kevin Feige if Pepper still has the experiment virus, he wouldn't know what you were talking about. I mean, probably some of you don't even know what I was talking about. Hello everybody, while editing this video, I realized that I forgot to talk about Bo Peep, so I'm gonna talk about her now. So when she comes back in Toy Story 4, she's pretty much one of the main characters in that movie, while, like I said earlier, she was a tertiary character. That's pretty much all I had to say, so, let's get back to the video. Anyway, are we done talking about all the characters? No? Oh, I took all of that time just to talk about Bo Peep and Pepper? I thought I said at the beginning of this that I was going to do this quickly. What do you mean that nobody's over there and I'm just talking to myself? Alright, well I only have 3 more characters to go, and I promise I'll do these quickly. So the next 2 are Buzz Lightyear and Captain America, or as they are more commonly known as Buzz and Cap, because people like shortening things to one syllable. They're both very military-oriented characters who clashed with the main character and have been asleep for a while. Cap being in the ice for almost 70 years, and Buzz being in hypersleep for a while, or at least that's what he thought, while actually what was happening was that he just didn't come to life until he was played with by a child, because that's how toys work. You're supposed to be doing this faster, Jacob. Next, we have Jessie and Black Widow, the redhead badasses who are introduced in the main character's second film. Black Widow in Iron Man 2, and Jessie in Toy Story 2. They both have a very tragic backstory. Jessie having to watch Emily grow up and stop playing with her and eventually getting given away while sad music plays, and it's a sad scene in Toy Story 2. It's almost bad as being a up, and it makes you wonder how the heck people think that Pixar movies are for kids. And they really don't know Black Widow's whole backstory yet. But we do know that I guess she was forced to become an assassin and regrets every second of it, and it seems pretty tragic, just trust me. Alright, I promise this one will actually be fast. The main character's big green friend, who despite his size, is actually pretty timid. How about the Hulk / Bruce Banner / Rex? Phew, finally I did one of those fast. Now, I just want to make 2 more points about Woody and Iron Man, and these are actually the 2 things that inspired me to make this video. First, in the film that the characters are in this year, there is a main theme for the character that they are clinging on to hope. Iron Man at the beginning of Endgame clinging on to the hope that Pepper is still alive after the snap when he's making the message for her. And later in the movie, he is clinging on to the hope that he can bring back everybody that Dust did, keep his family alive, and not die trying. And Woody is clinging on to the hope that he can still do more for Bonnie. But by the end of the movie, they both accept that they were wrong. Iron Man accepts the fact that he must die to save the people who dusted and his family and fulfill the one scenario where they win. Woody accepts that he has done everything he can for Bonnie and he should stay at the carnival with Bo Peep. And second, I think that a lot of people had the same prediction for both of these characters. Or at least I did. And this prediction was that they would either die or retire with their love interest. Iron Man gets death and Woody gets retirement. Well, I guess Iron Man also gets retirement during that 5-year gap, but that's not the point. Also, both of their most famous lines are saying, something is something. Iron Man saying,
I am Iron Man.
And Woody saying,
You are a toy!
Hello everybody, while editing this video, I also realized that Buzz and Cap's catchphrases are also very similar, with Cap's being, I could do this all day, and Buzz's being to infinity and beyond. And they're both very similar phrases because they're both hyperbole, and they're both saying that the character is going to continue doing something, whether it's fighting the villain or being somebody's friend, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, please leave in the comments below any other similarities you can think of between Woody and Iron Man, or, in fact, any other characters in the MCU and Toy Story movies. But with that said, that's a wrap.